are back. The time is now.
Well, hey, welcome to NUFC Talk TV, the post-match Bournemouth game. Sorry, I don't sound very awake because it wasn't a very entertaining match, to say the least. We got a point.
Fest.
We got a point, but crikey, as you can see in the chat, for anybody that wants to come on board, I have got the link, and there's been some issues regarding the YouTube link, so that's also in the chat as well. So again, you've been listening to me for rambling on for I don't know how long. I'm all disappointed. I'm not disappointed in going to Bournemouth and getting a draw. I'm disappointed in the final third. It seems to be a problem this season when it comes to what we do in that final third. We look a little bit all over the point. And the system that Eddie Howe is playing, to me, it's crying out to play with a 10 or an established 8. Somebody who's a bit more technical, as in savvy, in can read the game, who can bring players in. And I mean, if you're going to play Voltemada as your out-and-out striker, and with nobody with the capacity to run in behind, I can't see the point. He's not Isak. He's not going to be the one that drops deep, roll off the shoulder, and have the pace then to catch up with play further on the field. He just isn't. So for me, if you're going to play that role, that system, this 4-2-2-1, whatever way you want to do it, 4-2-2-2-1, I should say. You've got to have a player that has the mindset. And that's why I said, for me, what we were missing today, as much as I didn't think Elanga did anything, Harvey Barnes didn't do anything, that come on. Willock was not existent.
Didn't do anything.
You know what I mean? From the start. I thought Murphy we did okay. Some nice link-up play. There was some nice work down the channel. Thanks, Random, for your
where has the fire in the belly of the team gone and why?
Yeah, absolutely. I understand. I mean, Jagsman here, and bless him, Connor sent me a message literally while the match was still on. Can you believe we're saving J7 and Bruno for the Bradford game? And I suppose when you think about it, I mean, what the heck is going on? You know what I mean? When you've managed the game so well, if to nullify Bournemouth at home, you know what I mean, and that's what it is, isn't it? It's nullifying Bournemouth at home, whether you like it or not. It is what was set out to do. Boring, if I'm honest. I mean, it was negative, but again, when you look at the simple stuff that your players can do, why not just say to yourself right towards the end, you've got 2 left-sided centre backs there. Give Byrne a bit of a break. He's been playing week in, week out, and go and throw somebody like Bruno. Go and play in a high. Play just behind Asula. So you've got the diamond that you can work from then. Something like that. Somebody central. To me, there was far too much gap from the midfield to the forward line. There was just far too much space to work it. Win, your thoughts then, mate? Like I say, jump on board, everybody in the chat.
Let's get Andy's first, because we haven't had Andy's thoughts at all.
Let's look. There's going to be a lot of people that I don't want to come out and berate with, but look, we've played better against Bournemouth and getting beat off them. So I suppose you can look at the positive. It's an away point, but there's a trend starting. That's 3 games away from home. We haven't scored them. Okay, we haven't conceded either, which is an achievement in itself. But I think it's the manner, like Gary was alluding to before. It is the manner in which we're playing. You've got to feel for them people that were getting the bus this morning at 3:15 this morning to go all the way down to Bournemouth to watch that. But I suppose if you told them that they were going to come away with a point, a lot of them would have accepted it. For me,
Bournemouth up to 3rd.
Going back to what Gary was saying, we alluded to it weeks ago. For me, Voldemort had moments where he was linking up the play pretty decently when he had someone near him. The problem is the system doesn't allow anyone to get near him regularly. You either got, you only had one out-and-out winger to feed off, first of all, for the first 60 minutes. And we were terrified of going. There was a period we crossed the ball. Joe Willock picks the ball up at the edge of their box next to the byline, and within 2 passes, the ball's back to Nick Pope. There lies the problem. Nobody wanting to. The only person I've seen that was brave on the ball under pressure today was Toon Army. Yes, he did risk it for a biscuit a couple of times, but he got out because of that. Miley had good touches on the ball, but no one's been brave enough off the ball to. There was another period where the ball on the right-hand side, Tino and Murphy were passing the ball back and forth to each other. You had Voldemort holding the 2 centre-halves, and you had another 3 players across their defensive line. In 8 seconds, not one of them moved an inch to move the defence forward or back. How are Tino and Murphy supposed to create something from that?
Yeah. There's a good question. How does Newcastle get top 4 playing that way? They're nowhere near top 4 stop. I mean, for me, it's been, like I say, the part of our Achilles heel for a while now. When you're reliant on, and I have to keep saying his name, unfortunately, Isak, to get your goals, I think you can start to see and worry now the fact that we don't have enough goal scorers within the squad when we haven't. I mean, let's say for what it is now. We were all moaning against Barca that we hadn't started with a striker, and if we'd got a striker on board, we could have got somewhere out the game. I think it's more evident today, even playing with the striker, unless you throw the service into the striker.
Well, I was going to say, but
the
difference was today we didn't even create the chances.
No, there was no chances. I mean, you look at the amount of touches in the box that Voltemada had throughout the whole game.
Having said that, one of them should have been a penalty as far as I'm concerned.
We need to get over this narrative of when we're at home, we are a different species when we're at home, but we can't keep relying upon having to win home games like this. We've got some tough home games coming up. We've got Arsenal at home. If we drop points then you look at today and go 2 points dropped. If you get a result at Arsenal, then you say it's a point gained. It's the narrative. We have to have more intensity in the side and stop relying upon us to give them something to feed off. They've got to give us something to feed off.
Okay. Well, but again, you're saying that, and that's 3 clean sheets.
I get that one.
Away from home, and if you win your home games and don't get beat away,
put so much pressure on you in your home games.
That's top 4, all right, 76 points.
Yeah. But it's like I said, you're not. I do understand the management side of it. The worrying factor for me is, football is confidence. Football is about when you're a player. When you beat teams well, the confidence grows throughout the team. So you defend well. Your midfielders play the ball well. As you're scraping through games like we have, I mean, don't forget we only just beat Wolves. You know what I mean? Wolves are a very, very poor side this season. Very much, for me, relegation battle. Thank you, Olasula. Go on, Win.
We are 4 points from third. A point and a clean sheet away to an informed team. Botman looks back to his best. Chow looks solid. Lots of positives, guys. Thank you, Olasula.
I mean, I love it. I mean, I do. The concern for me is, we are only 5 games into the season, right? We've got a long way to go yet.
And we haven't had Wissa yet.
And we haven't had Wissa, but we won't have Wissa fully fit until after January.
No.
Really. Because of the AFCON.
But all I'm saying is you can't afford to lose a rat.
No.
And not replace him.
For me, the biggest thing for me is the fact that you are looking now at if say Voltemada isn't getting the service, who in the team can score your goals?
Yeah,
that's what you're asking yourself, because I can't see it. I just cannot see it.
And I struggle to see it, especially when because Bruno does get the odd goal. He wasn't in the team. Miley, he's got 1 in his career so far. He doesn't. He doesn't have a go. He does good. Capable things. But Ben was saying to me on Thursday, I just want, as far as Miley's concerned, I want Eddie to take the shackles off him and say, look, have a go. It doesn't matter if you lose the ball. Have a go.
Yeah.
Try and do something. We know you've got it in your locker. When you try it, just have a go. And we haven't got enough players. Again, the number of times, as Andy just said there, you know, we're on the attack, and within two, from a reasonable cross, we'll play 2 passes and it's back to Pope.
Yeah.
And it takes another 12 to get past the halfway line. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's 3, 4, back, forward. But it's honestly, it reminded me of Rafa and Bruce days.
Yeah, well, that's the disgruntling part. I mean, listen, I was brought up in a way of play the ball the way you face, right?
Yeah.
Because you keep the ball that way. And that sometimes means that you have to go backwards to go back forwards. And we saw it when we scored against Barca, right? Because you can't say it's not effective when you can score goals against Barca by going backwards to then move the ball forward. It's lovely to think that you can produce the quality as we do on occasions. It's, you know, you're on that crest of a wave and everything is going your way. But look, when the goals dry up for me, it's a case of, we were talking the other day and somebody was saying about, you know, we've kept a clean sheet, you know what I mean? Or it was a defensive mistake. And I'm saying the problem is if you're not scoring goals, it adds more pressure to keeping that defensive solidity. And for me, as the game was progressing,
more pressure on actually converting the chances.
Connor was saying, and you alluded to it, Win, Bournemouth really didn't turn up today. Was that because we man-managed it? Is that because of, or was it because they were poor? Because to me, they were there for the taking.
I thought their press was very good in the first half. They stopped us from playing really well. They didn't offer a lot going forward, which is what Bournemouth are known for.
You've got the two alternating points of view here. Connor saying, is the team stagnant? Eddie's tactics, da-di-da-di-da. And then you've got Pop Images saying, this was 10 out of 10 game management from Eddie. Wake up, people. We can't win every game with the same 11 players.
That's why we didn't play the same 11, mate. So the point's valid.
Well, yeah, but obviously when you've got your best players sitting on the bench or not available.
So you're saving Bruno and Joelinton for Bradford, eh? So that's a poor mindset to be in.
All I'm saying is...
But is it though, Andy? You've got to ask yourself, is we can't expect the lads, the 3 midfielders especially, to go throughout the whole season, potentially 60-plus games this season, and compete to a high level in every league game, in every Champions League game, and then the domestic trophies as well. It's impossible to do so. Okay, so I understand what Eddie's trying to do. Sorry? Go on, mate.
Foxy's saying we need to go back to a point Wynne was making 4 weeks ago. He said, we are now a team that go out for wins rather than drawn, which is what I was saying Eddie's philosophy was last season. So far this season, and especially the away games, tells us a different story. So has Eddie changed his tactics so that he's happy with an away draw? Whereas last season he wasn't.
I said to you before we came on, it seems as if Eddie's trying to steady the ship a little bit to get Waldemar a little bit more up to speed, because you can see he's not up to speed with the physicality of the league. He's nowhere near. For me, it's not the case that he's not winning the balls in the air, which, by the way, he lost a lot of them today. It's more the 50-50s where he's got to put his body in the right place and he's getting out-muscled. So is Eddie thinking, look, we can't afford to go our normal style, especially when Gordon's in the team, where we go high pace, pressure, because if he gets injured, I've got nothing else. So we need to make sure that we're hard to beat, first of all, because the goals will come in time. But at the same time, if you're not, the problem that you've got is you play 89 perfect minutes. Like we did, say, for example, Liverpool game's prime example. We played really well for 89 minutes, and then that one moment, bang, you lose the game. You can't afford to do that. You've got to offer a threat to your opponent. And we, ultimately, let's be honest, I mean, we had a blunt blade on Wednesday against Barca, considering how well we played. We had a spoon cutting a steak today. No, I mean a blunt blade. Because it was just dire, the attacking play. There was no I'm going to make a run inside. There was one good move, in my opinion. Voldemort dropped in. He played the ball back to Tonali. Tonali dropped it to Murphy, and Murphy went up and he played the
Went
ball
on
in.
that run. Yeah.
That was
I
good.
mean, that's what I said. If he hadn't have shot there and squared it, you'd got a player. Well, you got two players literally free squared of him. But it's easy in hindsight. You know what I mean? We see the game totally different to the speed of the game when you're playing it.
Lucky we've got the 55 million cameras around the stadium, aren't we?
Yeah,
Steve Gotti, if we get an elite manager now, he's stuck with a bunch of bang average players who can't strike a ball or score goals, and he would have a full rebuild on his hands, thanks to Howe.
I think another thing that we need to establish
so
today.
we've got a bunch of bang average players. Paul, Livramento, Bruno, Tonali, bang average players. England internationals.
When you play 5 at the back,
shut up, Steve.
You have to have your wing players, your wing backs have a good game. Lewis Hall had a stinker today, let's be honest. I love him a bit, but he had a stinker today. So we lost the left side a lot today.
We didn't have a left side, mate. Not normal.
We didn't
left side,
exactly. We didn't have one at all because Willock was doing more that way than he was going forward.
Yeah.
And
I mean, to be fair though, and you've got to give a little bit of credit where credit's due. Their main man, which is Semenyo, wasn't involved in the game at all.
Yeah.
So again, when we look back at, I said to Chris Wall when Chris was doing the commentary, you've also got to take into consideration this is Hall's real first game back from a long delay, and sometimes it's not about being able to play physically. It's about being match sharp. And I think, like I say, today he put a couple of balls into to players that were nowhere near that ball, and it's those type of things where everything's rushed mentally, so then everything becomes rushed in your ability, if you like, and you seem to just be a bang average player, unfortunately, rather than the international player, which we know he can be, and I think that is the frustrating thing about today. Go on,
also, bear in mind, he's not fully match fit.
No, exactly.
Eddie said that he'd come on leaps and bounds in his press conference, where obviously he'd stay behind during the international break. So you've got to question how far behind he was in pre-season, which understandably is why he's never had a look in. But apparently his injury was quite serious.
It was severe, yeah, absolutely. That's what he said. He's had to wrap him up in a little bit of cotton wool to try and get him back.
And also, we've lost our two strikers who've been embedded in the team over many years. You can't expect magic to happen in 5 games with one new striker and another one injured.
Yeah.
And I think that's perfectly fair comment.
It is. But I think what it also, like I said, what it's starting to show and make probably a higher grade than it should be is the lack of goals elsewhere. And I think, when you've got a midfield three as good as ours are, none of them are formidable goal scorers. We don't play with a 10. 2 of our wingers, none of them at the minute have got an XG worth even mentioning. Connor's just sent me this. I'll throw this on the screen because this is quite apt. If I can.
Rick Murphy saying, I'm drinking here on the west coast of the US, so it'll be about 3 o'clock in the morning or something there.
Yeah.
I love the tune, but I can't believe I woke up early for this.
It would be.
Yeah, I mean that's what I said. It is
9 hours behind.
It is so disappointing. I mean, you look at this for some statistics that's been shared. Total shots, Newcastle 5. I don't think we had a shot on target in the second half. Shots on target 1.
Tonali.
Shots off target 3. Tackles, we got involved in the tackles. Fouls, you're always going to get the fouls if you're getting involved in tackles. 5-2 regarding corners. I said, didn't feel as though there was many corners when Bournemouth had those couple right towards the death. And, I didn't even expect 5 for Bournemouth, if I'm honest. There should have been a penalty. And to me...
Which one?
That's... Well...
Baltimore.
I think the Baltimore shirt pull was clear and obvious.
It is.
Do you not think so?
You can see the shirt off his back.
Game, this is the thing, when in today's game you see them giving The problem is, I don't want to see a penalty given for. I don't want to see the striker throwing himself to the
I
ground.
don't want to see defenders pulling shirts.
I get that, but I don't want to see a big lad. I think if he really had his gritting his teeth and he was angry, he wouldn't have threw himself to the ground. He could have stayed on his feet. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Yes, he's getting his shirt pulled, and he's probably told to go down by his coaching and management, and every coach in the club will be saying, if your shirt's been pulled to the point where your shoulder's on show, you should throw yourself to the ground. I get it. But how often do you see it's given, it's not given, it's given, it's not given? How about just staying on your feet? You don't know what's going to happen then. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I just don't like it.
You're right, but you're never going to stop it. That's what I'm saying. So what you have to do, if everybody else is doing that around you, then for me, if you get a tug on the shirt, that is the defender's choice to tug your shirt, right? If you go to ground, the referee then has to make a choice, make a decision, right?
Yeah, that's
now,
why
the one on Harvey Barnes was a fantastic challenge, right?
Yeah.
That's where people were saying it was a foul. It wasn't. It was an absolutely superb defensive tackle.
In real speed, I thought it was, but it wasn't.
Yeah, well, the camera angle to me was exactly that. It looked like he took his foot, but it wasn't. He got his toe to the
Gillian J. Lovett, this is for Steve Gotti. Shows how much of a miracle worker Howe is. Getting bang average players to 2 Champions League, 2 cup finals, and winning one.
I mean, am I being too nostalgic of watching football back in the 90s when, if that was Les Ferdinand when he's getting his shirt pulled there, I don't think he goes. He might go down, but he's not going to go down like that.
Yeah, you're being too nostalgic, mate.
I stay on the feet. I totally get it. Today's game, you've got to give. Like Gary, you said it perfectly. You give the referee the decision to make. The problem is when you're 6'7", his shirt was. I mean, it was. I mean, I'm not going to flashes, but you know. I just can. Is that enough for a 6'7" lad to throw himself to the ground? No, in my opinion.
Well, he was going for the ball and he couldn't get to where he wanted to get to because his shirt was being pulled.
When I ask you a question, right, on that amount of money a week, if that was £1 million in front of you and someone asked you to reach for it and he was pulling on you that hard, would you reach it? I bet you would. That's what I'm saying. Try harder. Make him really drag you down.
Yeah, I mean, there's a picture here I want to show you because this I think speaks a million words. You know, you look at Voltemade, they're going to head the ball. Look where the player's foot is. You know, nothing gets pulled up about this or anything else. But the Lee Ryder headlines is the thing that gets me. Nick Voltemade off-camera gestures give Newcastle United food for thought. I haven't read this yet, but like I say, I just wanted to have a look at this picture because to me, you know, you've got to start questioning why decisions just aren't going Newcastle's way. Because again, you know,
and
if
every time we go for a challenge, you know, and they look perfectly fair challenges. It gets blown when it's a black and white, and it gets overturned when it's the other way around.
Good question there, Mr. Bartisred. Second yellow for Thiago. I honestly thought he could have been sent off, but I'm glad he wasn't because I think Tonali contributes to the momentum of Thiago just being in the way of him. I think the referee got that one right. You've seen them giving a red card, by the way. I'm not saying that you're not going to see them giving us a red card, but I think the referee got that right.
Yeah, I'm just reading this Chronicle article about Voltemade and his frustrated figure that seems to, you know, be all over the paper at the moment. And I'm so apologies to anybody that thinks I'm not involved in your chat. I'm just trying to see where.
Were you start looking at that, thinking, "Good, I want to see him wound up. I want to see him angry. You might get a couple of more % out of him." You know, go and barge your shoulder into someone in the next challenge, but didn't see it. No.
The Bournemouth skipper backheeled. I mean, it's a typical advert for the Chronicle. They give you headlines. United struggle to get crosses into the danger area for Voltemade or anybody else in the green in their first half an hour, and it was easy for the home side to reorganise and create openings at the other end, which is what we said. You know, you've got to manage when they're on top, and then hopefully you can do something the other end once their steam is done, and you've cooled them down. Can we then go on and create something? And that's where the likes of the Murphys, were trying to do something, and it was certain things were starting to come together, and we looked a little bit better at times. But for me, it was just a little bit really stuttering is the word I'd say, not faltering, because like I say, there was some good individual play, but it was just stuttering. Like I say, you'd do something really good and you'd think that would bring you up to that notch of getting everybody involved, having the confidence to go ahead and produce something at the other end. And then all of a sudden you just have a really loose pass to nobody. It was just to like space, you know what I mean? It wasn't giving you the final thing really. Again, it doesn't really give you a lot.
I think the bottom line on today is it is yet another away performance which didn't blow our frocks up.
Oh, not at all.
Your frock never gets blown up by the sounds of things. The amount of time you wear it, I'm telling you, you keep saying about this frock. I need to see this frock.
Well, it's Gary's frock, to be fair.
Yeah, my frock. That's
it's the Marilyn Monroe frock.
Yeah, it's an old.
The one thing I was impressed
as
much as the build-up. Sorry, go on.
Go on. No, I was just making, like I say, a gesture. Go on, mate.
You were impressed with the build-up.
There's a few people in the chat. I was quite impressed. Look, there was problems linking the defence to the midfield because as a whole, we were being negative. But it was good to see that the relationship, they've kept a clean sheet against good sides. So I think the signs are there. Like Wynn says, it's a clean sheet. The signs were there. Thiaw, yes, was he quite fortunate? On another day, yes, he could have been sent off, but I do think the ref got that right. Thiaw, for me, is very, very similar to Botman. Very similar.
As opposed to Bramble.
He's strong, he's quick. He's good on the ball, and he's willing to come out with the ball. So I think ultimately that's going to be the future of Newcastle United's centre-back partnership. So
that's what Foxy's saying. Foxy's saying that game sums up Chow's career. Lovely on the ball, and then we'll have some Bramble-esque moments.
I've seen it a couple of times at Milan. Yeah, he's right. I think he's bang on there.
I mean, like I say, I just think at this present moment in time, when your team is struggling, and we are struggling. You can't.
We're absolutely struggling.
There's no point in trying to gloss it up because there's nothing to gloss it up on. But when your team is struggling and what you need is a bit of luck, just for something to happen for you, to go in your way. Penalty decisions, something like today. That tug of the shirt, referee has to make a decision. VAR says, yeah, have a look at it because he does get hold of his shirt. Referee goes and has a look at it and then calls a decision, right? That to me is where the game changes because the lads, especially from the defence, going all the way through, we've done our job, now do yours because that's what we're here to do. We're here to stop the goals, but we need to create more in front of goal. So where do we create from? Because if we've got Elanga who's come in and the doc has made, I'm just going to put a couple of the starred ones on. We spent more than 200 million in the transfer window and we look worse. You've got to ask the question. Yeah, you've got to ask the question, are we now transitioning into playing with new people? Like you just said, we've lost one striker. Somebody's already mentioned in the chat.
Yeah, but
that have been involved in the game and in the team for years, that we know how they play to a style. We've got to now bring another player in that has never played Premier League football before, or obviously understand Newcastle style. So is it a mixture of both?
Well, we've spent 200 million in the transfer window, 100 million of which is not available now. And we've also lost £100 million striker.
Yeah.
Kind of puts it into perspective, doesn't it?
For me, we've also lost the biggest midfield attribute that we bought, which was Jacob Ramsey. And he was the one in midfield for me that I thought.
That's 100 million. His 45 which says 55. There's 100 million of that 200 million. And then on top of that, we've lost 125 million. He's a rat.
Voldemort holding the ball up, playing balls into Ramsey. Ramsey's the type of ball that receives that ball and keeps running with it at the back four. So I'd like to, he's right. We do look worse at this present time. We do.
Yeah.
But we need time. We do need time. It's just, it's not the quality for me on show at the moment. It's the attitude. It's keep going back to the goalkeeper. Keep going back to the goalkeeper. It's driving me crazy. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I'm just looking at the Eddie Howe penalty incident. My gut instinct was a penalty. I was adamant it was. He was tugged and pulled, and it stopped him from getting a shot off. Now, I don't know where he got a shot off because he had his back to goal. You know what I mean? I'm not sure whether that was that's a legit statement at all. If I'm honest.
Well, he has been known to get the ball like that, turn.
That's what I said.
And fire them into the corners.
Or
that's
because he's running back towards the penalty spot. There was players left and right of him that he could have potentially just laid the ball square or back to get a shot off at target anyway. So, but that ain't the point. The point for me is the fact that, again, lady luck. What's Chris's favourite terminology at the minute, mate?
Yeah, you can't count on luck, but luck counts.
Absolutely, and to me, that should be blazed across the top of all of our fucking spreadsheets at the minute, because that is where we are. You can't count on it, but it does count. And in especially in the situation that we find ourselves now. And Jay, he's saying that we should have had 2 penalties, but I think the second one was a clear good tackle.
I think if you're at the game, and you haven't seen a replay of the second one, you will say it's a penalty, won't you? Because in real time, watching it on TV, I thought
fantastic tackle.
But it's fantastic.
I mean, that was brilliant defend, which again, bore that brilliant defend. And, Chris was going on half time about ifs and that. That's an if. If it wasn't for that brilliant
just ripped
tackle.
Arsenal a new one.
What's that, sorry?
Man City have just ripped Arsenal a new one.
Oh, I'm missing the first. All right.
Wow. I'll tell you something now. 3-on-2 breakaway. Plays it into Haaland. There's only one outcome. That's the difference.
Foden, I'm telling you, mate. I bet you he's involved. He's come back and he's playing in the middle.
Phenomenal. Yeah, phenomenal.
And the other thing we miss, everybody says Gordon's playing crap and all that. The one thing you get from Gordon is the press.
Press. And he helps the rest of the team because he sets the precedent. That's what I was saying. His pace. But I will say one thing. There was 3 important moments in the game. There was a save Pope made with his feet, which was awkward. And right at the end of the match with that free kick, that was not an easy save. As much as we're going to give the 2 centre backs credit, I'd like to give Pope some as well because he's under a lot of pressure at the minute.
He's always been very, very good at
couple of times
keeping his concentration, which is the one thing that Ramsdale, by his own admission, can't do. I find it difficult to concentrate for 90 minutes. Pope definitely does that.
Big moments, though, isn't it? It's like 91st minute kick. It's going in the bottom corner.
Saying, but Wayne, this is the best squad we've ever had. Your word. Surely we can manage with 2 players being out.
I knew Bob was going to come out with that one if you come on.
Inevitable.
I mean,
team season. So what about the 10 players we still have who play on the field? New players don't affect the 10 we still have. I'm sorry, our winners are shite.
Wingers.
Our wingers are shite. Bruno can't score or assist. I thought he just scored against Liverpool, but I must be wrong. Eddie Howe built this team. Yeah, Eddie Howe built this team that's got the 2 Champions League and won our first trophy in 70 years. Yeah, absolutely spot on team season.
Go
on, Gary. Sorry, go on, mate.
No. Positives from the game. Chow, Botman, Woltemade. I got 2 out of 3. I don't think Woltemade, he was his best game today. He looked a little bit lost at times. He was being ruffled out of it. And again, this is something that he needs. He needs more support from me. And that's what I said. Either play with a player alongside him. For me, today would have been an ideal 4-4-2. Somebody just playing off him, and we all said, probably throw Barnes in there or something, just playing off him. Or even Elanga with a bit of pace that can just run into the channels when we've sucked Bournemouth forward, try just getting Elanga into that central areas a little bit, just to play on the attack, because I think there's an opportunity there that we probably just aren't having a look at.
Interesting comment from Foxy here saying, I think we'll see this type of setup from Howe after Champions League games.
Yeah.
Especially if we play away.
Yeah. I have a chance with that one as well.
Yeah, I think
Jay saying we have got players on bench, squad, match play, team experience, rested. Others, we have Arsenal, Bradford, Belgium, etc., etc. We are thinking bigger with game management. So that's Jay being great.
We are
positive.
thinking bigger. I get that.
It's
but could
different.
We have not give Bruno 10, 15 minutes towards the end of the game there?
Yeah. Again, is there a reason why we haven't? I mean, we don't know. Is he carrying something? You know what I mean?
He did. To be honest, the camera span one, I don't know if you've seen. I was watching on a separate link, let's say, other than the normal. And the camera did span to, I think it was when Osula and Lascelles came on, and Bruno was out over the back. He was looking at Joe Linton. He didn't seem, which you want to see. I don't mind that.
Well, and if you saw the interview that he did last week.
Yeah, and he said, if I don't play, I'm not happy.
He was saying, if I don't, and he says that time hasn't come yet.
But how many times have we seen it though? Let's be honest. Especially these Eddie Howe's first season, he puts a big player on for 15 minutes when, say for example, it would be, I don't know, at the time it would have been the likes of Wilson, 10 minutes. 2 minutes later, he's pulled his hamstring or he's getting an ankle injury or something, and you've lost him. So I totally get why Eddie's been reluctant, but do we need Joe Linton, Bruno for Bradford? Do we need both of them? Surely one of them could have been given 25 minutes, and the other one start with Miley and Willock. Do you know, that should be a strong enough midfield to beat Bradford. So,
absolutely.
I think he was I think Eddie got into the point of, we've done this well to hold on for a point against a team that we've played better against and lost. Let's just take the point. And it goes
third in the league.
Can I ask you something, guys? Who do you think the Chronicle have given the man of the match to Newcastle? Don't look, don't cheat.
Probably Jacob Murphy.
No, I would probably say Chow's got a shout. Tonali's got a shout, obviously.
Yeah, but they're not going to pick the obvious one, are they? That's what I'm saying.
And
please don't tell us it's Lewis Hall.
It could be Lewis Hall. Because I don't think Lewis Hall's had a bad game as what you were just saying before.
He came into the game a bit more, but he started poorly.
So who was it, Gary?
Pope.
Nick Pope, there we are.
Oh, well, kept us in. Well, got with a point.
Did he though?
Get it? I kind of get it.
Did he? Because this is their headline: man of the match after keeping the Cherries at bay with saves in each half. What about? I mean, come on. I'm sorry, but was there anything really that Pope had to do dramatically to keep us in the game?
Yeah, the last save.
The last save. That's it.
It was fucking straight at him through the wall.
Yeah, but it's one of them ones. If you don't gamble, it's going that way. It could flick a leg and you're screwed, aren't you?
Yeah. But if he flicks a leg, you're screwed anyway, aren't you? What I'm saying.
And then in the first half, when he kicked it clear, stretched and kicked it clear.
He didn't fill me full of confidence.
I think
Botman, he didn't fill me full of confidence.
Botman or Chow would have been one of my two.
Yeah, I would have.
If I was going defensive, but again, I thought Tonali was outstanding.
Olasula again. Thank you, Olasula, for your $4.99 super chat. Last season, we would have lost this kind of match, but our defence was solid, and that's the foundation of great teams. We could come good with time. I'm gonna induct you into the Happy Clappers Club.
Yeah, he's getting there. He's getting there.
You want the clap though, just as they're not very good.
It's running off. It's rubbing off.
Davey Eddie says, not the best, was it? An away point, that's about it. The game was just washed over. Miley and Willock. Hall was really rusty. On to Bradford on Wednesday.
I thought Miley had quite a good game today.
He didn't look in trouble at any point.
No.
He certainly wasn't the worst player. I mean, they've given Willock 4 in the
That's a
Chronicles.
generous
So everybody,
fee.
If I'm honest,
yeah, I'm going to say I don't think I'd have gone to the heady heights of 4. If I'm
give
honest,
him one on the score.
Chris
We
Richardson.
might do the player scores tomorrow.
Yeah, this is the good one. You need runners around Voltemade, but they leave him isolated, and that's what I said. They're either too wide, or there's nobody breaking the lines behind him. And when you see that, as you saw in the build-up play, and I keep going to Barcelona, you see in the build-up play with Barcelona, when he comes deep, if you get players running into the space, there's opportunities to get a shot off a goal. Not always going to get you a goal, but at least you get the chance and the opportunity to get a shot off goal.
You mentioned before, didn't you, with the diamond? The thing I like about the diamond is, especially if you've got pace in one of the front two when you play the diamond, is when you've got the ball, you can widen the two that are on the outsides of the diamond. And if the striker drops in a little bit, you've still got wingers. So it's a 4-3-3, but when you drop in, it's a diamond, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
but you can double pivot. You can do anything with a diamond, and that's what I said. And I enjoyed Tonali today because he was allowed a little bit more freedom to go forward. And like I said, we started to see a few more shots off. But I honestly think, like I say, we're going to have Gordon back as well, which is what's just come in. So I'll let you do this one, Win.
Yeah, Samir, thanks, Samir. Gordon back on the left, 4-3-3, goals will come.
That's another thing.
That's it. I think we didn't have Whistle, we didn't have Ramsey, we didn't have Gordon.
Well, resting Bruno and Joe Linton, and then Gordon.
Exactly. You know what? Nowhere near our best 11 on the pitch there today against a team that's third in the league, away from home, and we've come away with a point.
It won't be third now with Man City win now, I'd imagine.
I was going to say, no, they won't be third now.
Yeah, they are still third.
Are they?
There's only Arsenal that go above them.
Oh, Man City lost the first two of the first three, didn't they? That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I guaranteed third now if the score stays the way it is.
Yeah. Dr. Abuiza, sorry guys, very poor performance. No shots on target in the second half.
I don't think anyone is saying that wasn't a poor performance. But what we're saying is there's positive takes from the actual end of the 90 minutes. When the whistle blew, we're getting a point.
Yeah.
Steve Cuddy, Mr. Negative. Gordon is a bottom 6 player, in my opinion. No technical ability, can't pass a ball, can't cross a ball, can't strike a ball, and always fall over. Easy, useless. That's why Liverpool wanted him.
There's parts of that I tend to agree with.
There is, like I say, he has gone off the ball a little bit. Steve Gotti has got here. This all stems from a shot summer window and buying the wrong players. Knew as soon as the window was shut, we had wasted a huge sum of money.
And we've got to remember that Waldemar, you on about Premier League experience. We need to get into a head. He only made 13 appearances or something for Werder Bremen. Had a few good games. Got his move to Stuttgart. Didn't start for Stuttgart until November.
No, exactly. He's had a really high trajectory.
Half a season.
He's had half a season in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
There was somebody actually in there who said...
Is that me saying that we're an idiot for paying that amount of
Bournemouth showed Voltemade what the Premier League is today, for sure. He was bullied. And to a degree,
he was bullied, yes.
I like this one from Lee as well. Did 2 teams cancel each other out? Or were we just not good enough? Hard to call.
Well, the 11 players that took the pitch weren't good enough.
Well, like I say,
I disagree with that. I think what you've got there, and if you look when you're playing, even if you've got 11 players on the park, if you're playing with a poor player who's just not at the races, which Willock isn't, then you're playing with a player that hasn't.
You're playing with 10 men.
You're playing with probably 9.5 because Hall is involved.
Lewis Hall.
Then you're playing with a player, as we saw, where they nearly scored. Because Tino is now trying to work the right-hand side. Mentally, he's all over the shop. Doesn't get forward. Doesn't really give us that driving force as we see him on the left-hand side. A little bit, to me, it's like you're this is where Eddie now has to show a real coaching badge. because it's not only about, changing the team around. It's about the standard of play that comes with the movement. So, it's okay on a training field where you're setting a tactic up. Everybody's got a little bit of time on the ball. They all look as though they understand it. When you're good against Bournemouth, who are going to get at you, they're going to try. They're at home in front of their fans. They're not going to give you the time and space. They are going to come to the back of you, as we've seen through Voltemada on many occasions today. And it's up to Voltemada now to make something from that. Draw them out the way. Too central for me, Voltemada today.
What game was rugby analysts watching? If I was in neutral, this was a really boring, long ball.
Yeah, hang on, whoa. The stats will tell you he's fucking right, Win, because the amount of times Pope would normally roll a ball out. No, he went, no, I'll bring it out, and he went long. Oh, okay, it wasn't 90s long, but
three or four times,
but a lot more than we normally do.
We have moved into back to the 90s.
We even tried
early
millennium.
The whole thing about that game was it was two teams who were tippy-tappy and passing it back and forwards and back again and forward. Was anything but long ball. No, I want to see long ball. But I don't want to see Pope long ball. Because Pope long ball is a waste of
in any of our winners today, I tell you. There you are. There's the start. I bet you Pope put more balls within the 5 yards of their 18-yard box than any of our players today.
Yeah.
Say that again. Think. Pope got what?
I bet you Pope kicked more balls into the final 20 yards of their half than anybody in our team today, other than Botman. Botman was hoofing it from his side quite regularly, and long. He wasn't. If I could kick a ball that far, I'm telling you, I'd be in the gym a lot more.
Well, I'm just having a look at the stats
long
here,
ball,
and long passes. Bournemouth did 62, Newcastle did 55. Long pass proportion went to a shirt. 14% for Newcastle, 12% for Bournemouth. So again, you're looking at the passing accuracy for me is poor because
it was the accuracy for me today.
82% for Bournemouth, 76.8% for Newcastle.
That's
where it fell down.
Yeah, you've got to be in the high 80s.
You've got to be in the high 80s to be successful.
27 ball losses in your own third.
Well, even when you look at the passing accuracy in the opponent's half, now this is another one that tells you how close this game was. 75% for Bournemouth, only just 71% as well for Newcastle. That's passing in the final third. So that's when you're trying to break lines and get in behind. Very, very poor accuracy from both. And then when you look at the final third passing accuracy, 65%, well, 66, 65.9 to 64% Newcastle. So again, it is very, I mean, through balls, nothing for Newcastle. Not one through ball. No, not one through ball. Three for Bournemouth. And this is where we struggle as a team to try and get anything in that danger area. Like I say, if your main striker's only having one touch in the penalty box, I mean, what do you expect? It really doesn't bode well for either side, to be fair.
We've got to look at it. Look, there's worrying signs in the sense of overall performance. Like you said at halftime, if we watch Man City, if we look at Man City's stats at the end of this first half, would they have lost more than 8-9 turnarounds in their own third? They might lose them in the end of the second third. They might lose the ball there where Arsenal go. We're losing the ball so often in our own half because we're so timid in playing out that no one drops it. If Voldemort just dropped in sometimes and let the wingers sit high, he's the type of player that can hold the ball, play it out, get back up the pitch. But this
is your passing lane for Newcastle that I'm putting on the screen now, and as you can see, Pope's out ball was always to Botman, and these are the high percentages, not your low percentages. These are your high percentage pass balls. So you can see here where the thicker lines are, it's always going to go between the lines
Not very many forward
more
direct.
often. But look at this here. This is Willock, 28. I mean, where's he playing?
Back to Burn.
You know what I mean? Where the hell's he playing? Not one ball forward on a percentage. Look, not one ball forward. Highest percentage, he goes back to Miley.
See, I was actually got the nearest straight line.
It is shocking. It really is when you and again, you know, you look at these two lines here, very thick between the two of these. But where's your lines here? You know, I mean, it's only Lewis Hall. It's only Lewis Hall that's trying to feed in Voltemada and Murphy. You know what I mean? It is. If he's playing as a winger, which is where we expected him to play, the funniest wing player I've ever seen. To be fair, it really is. But it's a hard one to call. It really is a hard one.
I honestly said at halftime I would have put Joe Linton on the left hand side, only because if Joe Linton's playing on the left side, and we've seen it against Spurs in the past when we battered them and everything, he attracts attention from players. Voldemort just stays within 8-10 yards of him. He's going to drag everyone wide, and Voldemort's going to have a little bit more time. And then if we can drag from the right hand side, Trippier would have been the other substitution for Lewis Hall, and I would have had Tino on the left, and I would have had Trippier on the right. Then you get deliveries in from the right, and you've not just got Voldemort arriving in the box. You've got Joe Linton behind him, or vice versa. I know it's a hindsight, but I just think Joe Linton today on the left side, we had nothing there at all. Pace doesn't give you a presence on the left side. Physicality does at times. Because regardless of whether you're playing the ball in behind or you're playing the feet, Joe Linton can receive that ball.
I do like this. It's if Wissa Gordon, Bruno Ramsey, J7 and Cher were on the pitch, we'd literally look a different side and we'd be celebrating a good win by now. We'd be absolutely fine. Now then, when I say I really love that, except that my letting Eddie off the hook on Thursday was based on the assumption that he'd prioritised Bournemouth above Barcelona. So, in a way, although Merrick and Mark disagreed with me, I felt if we went and got 3 points today, it could kind of justify not starting Voltemada against Barcelona. But the fact, well, fair enough, he did start Voltemada today, but the fact that he then weakened the side, in my opinion, by leaving J7 and Bruno out, kind of negated that tactic. You know what I'm saying? So that I would have absolutely forgiven him the Barcelona team selection had we got 3 points today on the back of it. We didn't. We got a point, and as I always say, any away point in the Prem is a good point. When you're where we are in terms of our progression.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
but I do think, you know, saving them for Bradford, surely not. He's not going to play against Bradford, surely. Well, Tonali presumed he will rest against Bradford.
Yeah, I say Tonali and Marley will be rested, and it'll be Bruno and J7. But you know, who else? Are you going to play 3 at the back against Bradford?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
So who comes into midfield? That's what I'm saying. Who else do you play in midfield? Unless you're playing Lewis Hall, you know, on that left-hand side. Or you change the system altogether. For me, you see, it's like
you give Willock one more chance. I hope not.
Well, you know, like I said, he's playing safe. You can't afford to play safe. You know, Willock is not a winger. He played in a role not that suited to him, in my opinion. Now, you know, we've seen when he came to Newcastle, He was one of those players that looked versatile. He could go and do a job in any role. Very free type of spirit. And for me, and I said it before the start of the game, you just never know what play you're going to get with Willock.
Yeah.
You saw him against Tottenham, and to me, it's probably still the pass of the century for me, because it was an outstanding pass, measured weight, direction, outside of your feet. You know what I mean? It was absolutely. You don't have to change the run of the.
Try that a
pace
million
of the ball.
times and I'll get it right.
You never get there. Never get there. That's what I said. It was a pass of the bloody decade for me. So for when you look at that now, when you start saying he's not a winger, you don't have to be a winger. We're not expecting you to be breaking the line all the time. We need you to be included. And I'll be 100% now. I'm going to go and watch that game again to my detriment, because I want to find out where he played. Because even now, having watched the first half while Chris commentated, and I commentated the second half, and before he came off the field, I still haven't got a clue of where he was, what he did for the team at all. Because he wasn't. I expected him to be close to Voltemada. It didn't even seem as though he wanted to be close to anybody apart from Louis Shaw.
Didn't it? It seemed to be. We want you to have a free license so that when we get the possession, you need to be the nearest person to Voldemort to play off. But he played as a floater, but his mind was floating, not his legs. He was just. I don't know. I agree with you.
There, saying, unfortunately,
what he was a help for Lewis Hall for Semenyo. I think that's ideally, ultimately, what he was trying to be. But I don't think Hall needed really that. As much as Hall didn't have a great game.
Put it this way, if that was the case, it was a very successful tactic, because Semenyo was.
It was, but I don't think it was down to them.
Invisible.
I think it was down to Semenyo. Semenyo just had an off game.
Well, did he have enough game, or did he have enough game because of the tactics we employed against him? I don't know.
He even went to the left-hand side, if you remember, Semenyo for a period. So was it because we were doing that?
Peter Griffin saying, unfortunately, injuries have caught up with Willock now. He's starting to look like a high-end championship player, and I couldn't agree more.
But he's got the talent there. That's the problem.
That's what's frustrating.
You'd be frustrated if you didn't realise that he has the talent in him. We've seen it against Barcelona in flashes. He can turn two world-class midfielders and break the lines and then just not pick the right pass. That is what frustrates the life out of me with him. I like him. I
also don't think he gets in the... his trademark was always late arrivals in the box.
Yeah.
Finishing moves off. And he just doesn't do that at all.
You look at the Chelsea goal he scored. First touch, bang, outside the area. When I think it was Wilson set him up. I can't remember. But we won that game 1-0. He's a game changer on his day. The problem is what's the other 89% of the game going to look like with him? And that, for me, you can't carry that in the Premier League. You just can't.
Now, like I said, I think we have to step away from the mentality of us going and absolutely annihilating any team that we come and face. The high intensity has to change, because you can't go through the amount of games. And I think somebody had put it in the chat earlier. Eddie Howe, I think, is learning the fact that by playing the level of opponents that we do and the amount of games that we do, playing the way that Eddie used to play doesn't work across the season. It works on the odd occasion, and it looks amazing, and you get the results. PSGs, where they come and you're like, oh my God, it's like, rabbits in headlights. Yeah, Spurs. Sometimes you just have the game where everything just goes right. And at Barcelona, to be fair, there was points of Barcelona I thought we were very good, very, very good, and unfortunate not to come away with anything at all. The frustration side of it is, like I say, and we're always going to come back to the coach, because he's the one, negotiating, if you like, with the team, trying to find the right system, the balance of play to get these results. And it's like I said, at times you can be nitpicking as a fan, as we are. Yeah. We can be hypercritical. Trust me, if we'd have come out of this game when we lost 4-1, you know what I mean? When I travelled all the way up there to watch that game, I'd have been more than happy. I'd have still criticised, because we want more as fans, don't we? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's that selfishness, if you like, because you do spend a lot of your time watching football, and when it doesn't go, especially against your own, with your own team, you do see more of the negative than you do the positive, unless you win. Because
And
obviously
it's
wins.
easier to be negative, isn't it? Let's
Well,
be honest.
it's not. It's not about being negative. It's about being constructive. I always look at things. If I watch a game and I learn something from the game, and that's why I said that, when we were doing the halftime analysis, was the fact that for me this isn't Eddie playing wrong. This is Eddie managing how Bournemouth play. And if you get to a level where you're nullifying a team that's had a really good start to the season, then we can't have had a bad game. The biggest problem you find is when you haven't got somebody who is up to speed with the Premier League, as Voltemada isn't by a long shot.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else within that side, and I say squad, that can put something together for us? And you're absolutely right. We haven't got a crystal ball. None of us knew that Wissa wasn't going to be available because of the length of time that he's unavailable because of international duty. Gordon obviously, loses his head, seems more often than he scores goals these days, and spends more time actually watching the game from the sidelines. So we are at a loss to a point, because what Eddie's got to try and do then is find a solution elsewhere. That ain't easy to do. That ain't something that you can just pull it. Well, that's what somebody put that. Isn't it time now we start looking? What's happened to Sue Park? You know what I mean? Down that left-hand side.
Yeah.
He was, for me, an exciting young lad. You know what I mean?
Bright pre-season,
Bright. Yeah, absolutely. He looked as though he was confident to go and have a go. Now, he's gone. You know what I mean? Not even a whisper now. We're not even on the bench anymore. And you're like, what has happened from the lad that we saw in pre-season?
He was absolutely the bright spark of the
and it's demonstrated today exactly how much Osula's. We know Waldemar was getting cramped last week at half time, and he was blowing out his sausage in 60th minute today as well. Then we had the break and play. He got his breath back, and he had a poor touch in their box where that was tired legs at 70 minutes. That's when Osula should be coming on, in my opinion. But clearly, and it means clearly, Osula is not trusted by Eddie Howe.
No.
Why not try Neve? If that's the case, use Osula as a winger. If you got injuries, use him as a winger, because that's ultimately where he's impressed everybody. If he has at any point impressed any of us in moments, it's been on the wing. Yeah. Neve got to be. We are scraping the barrel slightly, only because of the Wissa injury, and we have got to go back to that narrative again. Wissa's not an out-and-out 9 either. So long term,
I think Wissa is
not an out-and-out 9. Win, come on.
Oh yeah,
he's not an out-and-out 9. He plays off a striker. When he played at Brentford, they played 2 high wingers and they had 4 behind them. It wasn't a 4-4-2 because they had Damsgaard as the false 9. So they're not strikers. He's not a 9. He's not going to hold the ball up and do what Waldemar does. He's not going to do what we recognise from our days as a 9. For me, give Neve an opportunity. And not only that, God, stick him in against Bradford off the bench. If he gets a couple of goals, we need PSR money. He could get a couple of goals and some club go, hang on a second, I'll give you 5 million for him. These are the things that we've got to do. It's got to start somewhere. When we're spending all this money on the academy, when's it going to come to fruition? I'm going to be your age at this rate by the time that my hairline's gone that way. But
we're on about Su Sung.
I get that, but what about
Bradford? Anybody?
Well, why not? I mean,
except for the fact that Gordon presumed he's going to come in to get some match fitness.
That's probably the strongest part of our squad, isn't it? Let's be honest, centre back and wingers.
So, a couple of unfortunately, gentlemen, I am going to have to call it a day.
And me.
But I have done a little bit of a tactical breakdown, literally just to close the show off. So, defensive discipline. This is for Bournemouth. Maintain a compact shape. Frustrated Newcastle's attempt to break through. Their back line well organised and rarely caught out of position. Midfield grit. They didn't dominate possession, but were effective in disrupting Newcastle's rhythm. Key moments, a potential penalty shout for Newcastle was waved away when Bafodi Diakate tugged Nick Waltemada's shirt in the box. For Newcastle, rotation strategy. Eddie Howe made 7 changes from the previous match, including leaving out Bruno Gulmaras and starting Joe Willock. The lack of cutting edge. Despite some promising build-up play, Newcastle managed just 1 shot on target in the first half, with Jacob Murphy's early burst was the only real threat. The penalty controversy, obviously, the denied penalty could have changed the game's complexion, but referee Rob Jones was not convinced. For me, you look at some. We'll go through the scores. I've written some down, but with the fans,
smash the likes, folks. By the way,
absolutely, yeah, do that for us.
Is everyone on holiday this week? Anyone else want to come and have their say?
Well, it looks like everybody's.
I think everybody.
While they sleep, they still have woke up.
Yeah. Newcastle will see this as 2 points dropped, especially given their ambitious and recent form. Bournemouth, on the other hand, will be pleased with their resilience and ability to hold off the rotated but talented Magpie side. Eddie Howe now faces selection dilemmas ahead of their next fixture, with several players underperforming and others knocking at the door. Let's see what happens.
I mean, that's the other thing, you can have the best tactics in the world, but if the players are just all having off days, there's no you can do about it. Yeah.
Like I say, keep your scores to yourself, Rugby, because like I say, we're going to be doing a show all for that. But like I say, I'm glad you've started to throw them in, because that's what we want from everybody, to get involved.
Sorry, Lee.
Foxy is going to finish the question with win. Is the title challenge still on?
No, because what I said was, if you remember, I thought we've got a squad that can challenge for the title. I still believe that. But not when your main striker is not available.
No.
So he's
main striker. And that's we've said it every game virtually this season. We've said the same thing. No cutting edge.
No cutting edge at all.
We haven't had Wizard.
Very, very stuttering, as I put it, when it comes to that final third. Decision-making wasn't good. Right then, gentlemen, thank you so much to the Mighty Win for racing all the way back from Bristol. Don't forget to take your pills. Andy, thank you ever so much for coming on board, buddy. It's always a pleasure to have you and listen to your insight into the match. And thank you to everybody in the chat, as always, especially a couple of super chats that have come in from Alasula. Thank you so much, and Random Access, obviously. And I also want to thank Random for his contribution before. And Sammy. Thank you so much, guys, for your kind contributions throughout the match today, the watch along. I hope you've enjoyed, but like I say, do us a favour, smash the like buttons before you go, because it helps us reach those heady heights.
Thank you, everyone in the chat.
Until the next one. When we on again, Win? When we on and again? Tomorrow? Are you and Chris doing a session at midday?
What's happening tomorrow? We might do a hate along. I think Chris said we might do.
Might do a hate along, yeah. So watch this space.
You need to be on that one. We'll get plenty of it.
Absolutely. We'll see where we're at.
We got tomorrow again. There's no games tomorrow.
There's no games, is there? There's no matches tomorrow.
Oh, so there'll be no hit along.
We'll discipline.
Hit the bell. Hit the bell. And if we
bell.
do something, you'll see it.
Absolutely. Until the next one, then.
When you can see us smash them. There you are.
Yeah, exactly. Until the next one, we'll see you. We'll see you soon. Go on then, Win. See us out.
I'm just sick. It's Sunday today, man.
I know. It's Monday tomorrow. That's what I said. Are you not doing the midday one?
Yeah. Of course, we'll be on for the midday 12.
Midday 12
and
o'clock.
And then back at 9.
Yeah, back
30.
at 9. There you go. Superb. So that these will see you tomorrow morning.
I'm thinking we're on Saturday, and who's on tomorrow?
You've like I said.
Me clock's away.
Your clock. Yeah. Don't forget there's an Elling clock. Anyway.
The clock's been gone a long name, let's be honest. So,
right then, team. Thank you so much to Mighty Win. It's a goodbye from them.
Goodbye from him. Howie the lads.
Lasses and bands. Take care, everybody.